Welcome back. Today, we are doing a deep dive into something that, frankly, promises the moon. Massive savings on your electricity bill, effortlessly. We're looking at sources covering these wall plug-in devices, specifically one called WattSave Pro. You've probably seen the ads, about 50 bucks, claims to cut your bill by, what, up to 40%?
Yeah, the promise is incredibly appealing, especially with energy prices being what they are. But the sources we reviewed, particularly from electrical engineers and consumer watchdogs, they're unanimous. For your home, it's physically
Well,
impossible.
possible. Okay, so it's not just ineffective, it's fundamentally flawed. We're going to unpack the whole operation, the scam, the fake science, and even the safety risks.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating, how they keep this going. It's not just one bad product, it's a whole system.
Right. Let's start there. The name WattSave Pro. Our sources point out this isn't even his first name, is it?
Not even close. This is just the latest label slapped on the same device. It's been sold as Miracle Watt, Stop Watt Pro, Voltex Eco Watt, Watt Rescue. Basically, when enough bad reviews and investigative pieces come out,
They just rename it and launch a new marketing campaign.
exactly, wipe the slate clean, start over. And marketing itself it's built on sand, complete fabrications.
Like the Elon Musk story. I saw mentions of that.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. Totally fake articles, doctor images claiming Musk invented it or
Yeah.
that Tesla was involved somehow after some tragic made-up story about an employee. Snopes, of course, debunked it thoroughly. There's no connection. The people cited, like Dorothy Smith, they don't exist. It's pure fiction to build credibility.
So they build this story, charge $50.
Yeah,
What are you actually getting for that money when you plug it in? Or
yeah.
if someone cracks it open?
That's maybe the most insulting part. When investigators took these things apart, the components inside cost less than $5.
$2. What's in there?
You get a very basic circuit board, a tiny little capacitor, which we can talk about, but it does next to nothing in a house, and an LED light.
An LED light.
Yep, that's probably the most functional part. It lights up to make you think something technical is happening. It's just theatrical lighting, purely for show.
Okay, so the hardware is basically empty. Let's tackle the main claim then, this power factor correction. They say it smooths out your electricity, stops waste, saves you money. Is that even a real thing?
Power factor correction is a real concept, yes. But, and this is the crucial bit, it applies to industrial settings. Big factories with huge motors, heavy machinery. They draw power in a way that creates what's called reactive power. Think of it like the foam on a beer. The utility has to be able to supply the whole glass, foam included, even if you only drink the beer.
Okay.
Industries with lots of that foam, that reactive power, sometimes get charged extra by the utility because it puts a strain on the grid. So they use power factor correction equipment to reduce those charges.
But what about in my house?
Hmm.
Or, for our listeners at home?
That's the scam. Residential customers, you, me, we are generally not billed for reactive power. The meter on your house, it only measures the beer, the actual power you consume. Lights, heating, your TV, appliances.
So we don't get charged for the foam?
Exactly. There's no financial penalty for reactive power on a typical home electricity bill. So a device claiming to correct it to save you money it's solving a problem you literally don't have.
Wow. Okay, so it doesn't save money because the problem it claims to fix doesn't cost us anything.
Precisely. And it gets worse. Sources like the UK trading standards actually tested these things. They found they don't save power. In fact,
Let me guess, they use power.
a tiny bit, yes, because of that little LED light we mentioned. So consumption actually increased slightly in their tests. Not by much, obviously, but the opposite of saving.
Unbelievable. So it fails on its core promise, and it might even cost you a fraction more. What about safety? You mentioned that earlier. For $5 worth of parts.
Yeah, the construction quality is often appalling. Testing found really poor manufacturing, sometimes with exposed live electrical parts inside the cheap plastic casing.
That sounds like a fire hazard.
It absolutely is. They can overheat. You're plugging a poorly made, potentially dangerous device into your wall, and fundamentally, you just can't cheat physics. The first law of thermodynamics is pretty clear. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. If a light bulb needs 100 watts to run, it's going to draw 100 watts. Plugging this box in nearby doesn't magically make 40 watts disappear.
Right. It's just basic science.
Yeah.
So if people genuinely do want to save on their electricity bills, what do the sources say are the real ways?
Well, it involves actual changes, not magic boxes. Things like switching to LED bulbs. They really do use significantly less energy, like 75% less than old incandescent bulbs. Smart thermostats, like Nest or similar brands, can make a real dent in heating and cooling costs, which are usually the biggest energy users in a home.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What else?
Getting a proper home energy audit can pinpoint where you're losing energy. And then, of course, bigger investments like better insulation or solar panels, those make a huge difference over time. Actual measurable actions.
Not just plugging in a $50 piece of plastic.
Definitely not.
So wrapping this up, the Watt Save Pro, Miracle Watt, whatever name it uses next week, it's predatory, isn't it? It
Well,
targets people worried about bills with a completely empty promise.
it absolutely is. It preys on financial stress and maybe a lack of technical understanding. You pay $50 for literally nothing useful and potentially something dangerous.
It really makes you think, though, why does a scam like this, so easily debunked by, high school physics, keep finding customers?
That's a powerful question. Hope is a strong motivator.
And maybe that's the final thought for you, the listener, to take away. Consider the power of desperate hope, that wishful thinking, versus basic physics next time you see an ad for a miracle product, especially one that promises huge results if you just plug it in and change nothing else.